Thank you, Martin, for your introduction and your kind words. It is a real pleasure and honor to be here today, although I'm not going to be speaking a lot about pricing mechanisms in the airline industry. I don't think you are particularly interested in that today, I hope. Yes, it is an absolute honor to be here today for your graduation. First of all, congratulations for your master's degree. No doubt you will all work very hard and smart, I hope, to achieve this. It is an important milestone in your life. So sit back, relax, pause for a moment, and enjoy. You made it. It should be a very proud moment for you, and I can assure you, looking from here, you all look great. So, congratulations. Obviously, when preparing for the commencement speech, Martin mentioned that, I reflected about my own time at the WHU. Back, well, let's call it some time ago. It was year four of the WHU back in 1987, long time ago, and today we are in year 33. You are joining more than 5,000 graduates of this wonderful institution. Back then, we were not even 150 students in the whole university studying in a building of a primary school on the Karthause in Koblenz. I think you have all heard the stories. But as someone who has a true marketing heart and mind, what a journey of the brand WHU. And you have been part of that journey now, so congratulations again. Joining the WHU was certainly the best decision in my life. Apart, of course, from marrying my wonderful wife, Stephanie, who is here today, and having a fantastic son, Yannick. Best decision in my life, those are truly big words, but I mean it. You could look at this decision, or in fact any decision you make, from two perspectives. What I call hard coding and what I call soft coding. Let me explain a little bit further. Well, when I first started thinking about potentially joining the WHU, I looked at it from a hard-coded way. Analytical, rational, technical. Actually, I have to admit that my parents did. I came with my youthful passion to my parents and explained to them that I wanted to study at the WHU. Public education was free at the time in Germany, and I was asking them to pay, yes, Markus is right, 40,000 Deutschmark at the time. That was a big demand. So my father asked for, well, an investment plan. In German, that's eine Investitionsrechnung. Well, he is an engineer after all. In other words, he was asking me, show me the money, or in today's words, he wanted to make sure that his startup investment, which was me, did yield a good return. And if you're wondering, yes, I did do an investment plan, and still today, when we get into arguments at home, my parents will pull it out and remind me that all my numbers were wrong. The investment plan is what I mean with hard coding. The other perspective of this best decision in my life is the soft-coded side. This is the bit that you cannot analyze easily, and certainly much more intangible than the hard-coded arguments. Soft coding is about empathy, is about authenticity, is about character, is about leadership, it's about trust. It is about sensing and feeling. It's harder to grasp. So in other words, soft coding is the gut feeling you have when you make a decision. Well, I did not see it like this 30 plus years ago, but now I realize it wasn't so much the investment plan that I produced for my father, it was the soft coding side that made this decision really the best decision in my life. Soft coding was the community of only 45 students, the relationships, being the guinea pig spirit, having the spirit of being at the first private university at the time. I gained very close friends for life, an invaluable global network of people, and doors were open with an invisible hand, which would not open otherwise. And as I said, it was the soft coding that made this decision the best decision in my life. In my experience, the soft coding in any decision is much more important than the hard coding. You're leaving here today for what I'm sure is a bright future, both personally and professionally, and you will have lots of decisions to make in the coming years. I hope some will fall into the categories best decisions in your life. While there is no recipe for making those decisions, I would like to offer up 3 things that I learned which might you give some food for thought for those best decisions in your life. The first one is follow the people. As I've said, many decisions tend to be hard-coded. The rational, analytical, number-driven kind of decisions we all know. You have learned many tools in the last year here at the WHU MBA program which made you be successful in those decisions. There's no doubt about that. While this is important, the soft coding is what differentiates success and failure. Adam Newman, the founder of WeWork, said it very pointedly. Profit and success are the byproduct of leading with intention and impact. Only the byproduct. The best example of leading with intention and impact I can think of in my professional life was when I was at Lufthansa. Martin mentioned that. I was the CMO, and I was approached by a small startup that some of you may have heard of called eBay, to join them in Germany. As you've heard, eventually I joined eBay, and at the time a lot of people said, "Have you lost your mind? Why on earth are you going to this little startup? Why are you leaving Lufthansa?" They were clearly thinking the hard-coded way. Big brand, huge budget, good career path, stability, all those other good things you have when you work in a large corporation. Well, in reality, I wasn't so much leaving Lufthansa as I was joining eBay. And that was entirely based on what I call follow the people, and on one specific situation in particular. As part of the interview process, I was asked to go to San Jose, California. This is the headquarters of eBay. I had interviews lined up with the CEO at the time, Meg Whitman, and her whole leadership team on a typical interview day. I'm sure you know them all, one day from 9 to 5 p.m. Great, so I arrived at the offices, bang on time, as you would expect from a German, just to find out that I was the only one there. There had been a mix-up in the schedule, and the CEO and the whole team were at an offsite some 45 minutes away. The poor receptionist was panicking, and I didn't know what to do. Half an hour later, Meg's PA appeared, welcomed me, and apologized on her behalf. What struck me most, though, was the reaction of the leadership team. It was incredible. After some interviews in the office, they found a solution that took me directly to the offsite, some 45 minutes away, and the whole leadership team interviewed me then all together for more than 2 hours, sitting with 8+ people in a room, and afterwards I had lunch with them. Finally, Meg Whitman, the CEO, drove me personally to the airport and put me on my plane. I still remember it was an old shabby BMW with a barking dog in the back. The way the CEO dealt with what she felt was her personal mistake, how she made the situation a success, and a great experience for everybody, was, in my opinion, extraordinary and an important part of my decision to join eBay. So I followed the people. I joined eBay because I thought I can learn more from Meg and her leadership team at the time than from the leaders at Lufthansa. This proved to be the right decision. About a year later, Meg visited Berlin, the eBay headquarters in Germany, for a business review. Our core problem at the time was that we were losing too many high-value customers far too quickly. A high-value customer is somebody who spent 4,000 euros a year with eBay. In fact, of 742,000 VIP customers, eBay lost at the time 50%, 50, every year. So as a CMO, I was talking at the business review about this issue and possible solution. These are the numbers, this is the situation, here's the problem, these are the possible solutions, And now these are the next steps. You get the picture. I was presenting and Meg was listening. Suddenly she got up, walked to the front of the room, and took the marker pen I was holding and walked to the flip chart. So we thought. But she walked past the flip chart, continued and stopped at the wall where she started to write in large numbers 7, 4, 2 on the wall. You can imagine that everybody was starting to cry in the room. Stop it, that's the wall. No, it's a mistake, don't do it. Thinking she was making a mistake, but she continued. Well, first of all, my hard-coded presentation was definitely over. And then she explained and said, this is to remind you every day to keep the 742,000 customers and not lose a single one. Think about it from every angle, all together, not only the marketing side. This was an unforgettable leadership lesson. It was the inspiration, in other words, the soft coding, which gave us the focus for the coming months. In truly American fashion, we signed all the 742 on the wall. It was put under glass, where it is still today, 12 years later, on the same wall, in the same meeting room, in the same eBay headquarters in Berlin, Germany. eBay has certainly moved on, but Follow the People has never let me down. Follow the People has had a big impact on me personally and professionally. And if you really think about this, this makes total sense, because this is, after all, what we do in our personal lives. We follow people, partners, friends, relatives. This is all intuitive, it is gut feeling. It's soft coding. Why not do it in business life a little bit more as well? So Follow the People is about considering empathy, trust, sensing and feeling in all the intersections of your life. It has to do with getting something from other people for following them, which you cannot get otherwise, like I did from Meg Whitman. However, if you're only trying to get something all the time, in the long term this may not be enough. You need to give as well in order to continue receiving. So my second advice is what I call the give to get principle. Winston Churchill said this very tellingly. We make a living by what we get, and we make a life by what we give. Infair, the company I'm currently working on, is the market leader in pricing intelligence for the travel industry. And it's a great example on the business side for this. We provide airfare pricing information to more than 240 airlines worldwide, and you can only subscribe to our business intelligence services if you contribute your own pricing information. It's very sensitive for every airline, and make it available through the Infair marketplace. We call this the give-to-get business model. You can only get our services if you give your own data. So for me, the give-to-get principle combines making a living and leading a life. There's a long-term balance between giving and receiving. Again, it's part of every two partnership, and it's a winner in business. Look no further at what happens in the tech industry with all the social networks, the marketplaces, and payment system. It's all give to get. In fact, as I said at the start, the long-term friendships I gained here at the WHU are based on this principle as well. Then they have yielded many memorable moments. And this leads me to my third piece of advice after Follow the People and give to get principle, and that is create memorable moments in your life for yourself and others. Those are the moments you still remember in detail for years after they happened. They are, for me, my inner guiding light for decision-making. I seek them out. I reflect back on them after they happened. And the interesting thing is, they rarely have anything to do with hard coding. When you look back in your life, you will rarely remember the revenue increase you made for company X, the acquisition you made for company Y, or the super project you completed for company Z. But what you will always remember are those single moments of joy and happiness that stay with you. These are permanent pictures in your mind, and these permanent pictures will influence your decision-making. Let's stop and think for a second. What are your most memorable moments? That moment when you won a prize, the birth of a child, an amazing experience in a vacation, or an act of kindness from a stranger. For me, clearly there's my wedding or the birth of Yannick. Of course, they were very memorable, but I want to share a couple of others from my professional life. I worked in London for 6.5 years, leading a travel technology business called Sabre, and having a fantastic time and great success. Martin mentioned that. I could tell you that revenue was X in the beginning and 2X a few years later. EBITDA had doubled, and I had hired many more smart people over the years. Hard-coded facts, certainly impressive. But for me, there are two situations that are most memorable moments. Actually, they are symbolizing my personal satisfaction, happiness, and success much more. The first had to do with the office we were working in. During the interview process, I tried very hard to get a glimpse of the office to get an understanding how the work environment was in London where the people were working. Lots of excuses were given, and the office was never shown to me. Finally understood that this was not a good working environment. Near Heathrow Airport, shabby and tired offices for many decades. Consequently, when I joined, one of the first things I did was start moving the office. I'll spare you the details, but we opened the office in Richmond, near the River Thames, and created a modern entrepreneurial working space. The memorable moment, though, came not at the office opening, but it came a few days after that, when Michael, a 30-year-old veteran of Sabre, who was close to retirement, approached me and gave me a present. It was a photo book he made during the weekend when no one was in the office, with magnificent pictures and lots of thoughts about the values of the company. Our company values were basically expressed as beautiful pictures and put into a photo book. It was really superb and must have taken him quite some time. Pragmatic as I am, I looked at the book, loved it very much, and thought this would make good presents for my boss, the president of the company, the board. So I went back to Michael, applauded him, said, "Great job, Michael," and asked him for another few copies. Being British, he very politely declined my request numerous times. In the end, he said, "Harald, there is only one book, and it's yours." I realized that this was his gift to me for getting him out of a tired old office after 30 years or more. A true memorable moment showing personal satisfaction much more than revenue increase or anything else. And the other memorable moment came after the most successful year we ever had at Sabre. In case you're wondering, again, I don't remember the exact numbers, but I can look them all up. What I do remember, though, is that I decided to say thank you to all the team members by giving them the choice of what kind of a Christmas party they wanted. Usually, this is a big year-end party in the UK. They decided to rent a well-known nightclub exclusively, and we had a blast, big party. My memorable moment came in the middle of the night, standing on a table overlooking the dance floor, obviously a nice drink in hand, and seeing hundreds of people dance the night away, having fun and celebrating their success. And I felt extremely happy that they were all having a great time after the successful year and proud to have such a great team. I still feel happy when I think about this, and this is more than 5 years back now, and everyone who was there still remembers this as well. What you create for others comes back to you as a memorable moment. Michael created a memorable moment for me with a photo book, and the team created one for all of us at the Christmas party. These things don't just happen. Deliberately creating them brings great happiness. As I said in an instant, these memorable moments develop into an inner guiding light over time, which helps you make the best decisions. So seek them out. Think about your memorable moments and actively create them for others. It has been a great pleasure to be with you today, and many congratulations again. This has certainly been one of my memorable moments. Forgive me for my indulgence in sharing some of my stories. What I've learned from these has helped me shape my best decision-making. So remember that invisible hand, that soft coding, that gut feeling. The world is increasingly hard-coded, but the differentiation for each and every one of us is in the soft coding. It lies in empathy, in sensing, in feeling. Follow the people, they will be your best guide, and create those memorable moments in life for you and for others. Thank you, and all the best to you.